The Raptors lose to a Rui Hachimura game winner. LeBron James's 10-point streak ends, but at what cost? Let's go to the film room.
The only thing that's originally filmed is that and I've studied older films and tried to figure out how I got that impression. I was getting these right in the cutting room.
The unique thing about film is an art form
exactly.
is the editing.
The Raptors' clutch offense continues to struggle, and I think part of that is just far too much reliance on Brandon Ingram to be their sole shot creator, working really deep in the shot clock. If you see here, 1.8 seconds left, and he still has his back to the basket. Just not a ton of movement outside of BI as well, and so he's forced to chuck this shot. He actually makes this shot, but it's a tough one to live with constantly. And the Raptors are learning really quickly that entry passes are one of the hardest parts of being this constant post-up team in clutch situations. They really struggle here to get Scotty Barnes this ball against Austin Reaves. And Scotty didn't take a single shot in the fourth quarter. Part of that was because of the early seal work. Scotty did a great job, but defenses in general are starting to front this action. And so it's making it a lot harder for guys to throw this pass over top and get a nice angle to pass this ball. It's just hard when post-ups are your number one clutch offense. And so they're not able to get at Scotty Barnes here. Truthfully, they should be able to get it to Scotty Barnes here in this position, but they can't do it. And so instead, they try to force a re-entry with Brandon Ingram popping out here. BI should be able to make this play. This is a play that he has to be able to make. And there's 10 seconds left on the clock. Instead, it ends up with this being the case. He can't get it. Good job by the Lakers of pinching in and making it hard on Scotty to catch this ball. Ends in a mid-range jump shot. Again, shot clock winding down here, and BI is forced to chuck up a three. He grabs it. And look, now they have 14 seconds left on the shot clock, right? The shot clock resets to 24, but it's actually supposed to be 14. They could get a good quality look here, but instead BI tries to barrel to the basket, gets blocked, and the offensive foul. So this is just another example of that. They get the switch that they want to, right? Scotty, early entry pass, right? This is the offense that they want to run. They get Austin Reaves on him. Reaves is fronting, right? But there's also the lurking help of LeBron James. If they get this pass to Scotty, he can be a playmaker, make plays, find Jameson Battle in the corner. Defense can be in rotation, etc. Except they're not able to get this post-entry pass in, and so Shed has to make the cross-court pass. They still get the defense in rotation. Defense still ends up in rotation, but it stops with Brandon Ingram. And BI, with 8 seconds left, decides to just take this one-on-one and settle for a tough mid-range jump shot. Listen, you live with that. But at the same time, when the shots aren't going, it looks a lot harder. It's harder to sell to fans when the shots aren't falling. Like 12 seconds left on the shot clock until they initiate their action. This is an action that you guys have seen before, right? Pinch post area, option screen. So a cross screen from Emmanuel quickly. Mamu is going to set this gut action screen as well. BI has the opportunity to go this way or that way and make a bunch of plays. We've seen this a million times so far and a lot of clutch opportunities for the Raptors. It's just that it starts 12 seconds left on the shot clock. That's just not enough time for things to be able to get a good shot, right? And if not getting a good shot, find a second opportunity there. And so from this point, just a little bit too slow to get to this opportunity. There's now 6 seconds left on the shot clock for BI to go one-on-one, and that's the only shot you're living with. They switch this action because, of course, shot clock winding down, you're not going to live with the jump shot. He picks up his ball. This opportunity is already nullified. This is over, and so BI has to end up chucking this shot. That is a terrible offensive possession. Now compare that to Scotty's creation in the fourth quarter tonight. Scotty had 3 assists in the fourth quarter, but he created a ton more shots than that. And part of that was because, one, he was physically imposing, and so they had to send help on these post-ups, and it created a lot of good opportunities. So here, he gets into the teeth of the defense, able to get into that paint area quickly, and finds Jameson Battle in the corner, who ends up knocking down this 3. This is good offense, good possession by the Raptors here in the club. Same thing here, great hit-ahead pass by Jamal Shed, and so defense is scrambling. Scotty, once again, has options, right? Mamu is making this cut. He can find Jamison Battle in the corner. He has options to be able to operate here in the post area. And so what does he do? He finds Mamu, who finds the cutting battle. Really beautiful play by the Raptors created by Scotty Barnes. All right, so they've got Scotty Barnes on Austin Reaves, and defense is forced to help out in this situation. Now DeAndre Ayton has to actually step out of the paint. That creates an opportunity for bigs to feast inside, right? So Mamu recognizes this, cuts backdoor, nice cut, great timed cut as well, and then Mamu finishes this. That's a beautiful pass by Scotty Barnes, beautiful recognition by Scotty and by Mamu there. And so, folks, the Raptors lose, and their fourth quarter offense, I thought, struggled tremendously. It was a really tough game to watch because that's a game the Raptors should have won. No Luka Doncic. Of course, from the Raptors side of things, they didn't have Jakob Poeltl, they didn't have Ochai Agbaji, they didn't have RJ Barrett, so I understand the injury front on both sides, but they did not have Luka Doncic. And we'll get into the game winner and Austin Reaves in a second here. I'm going to move quickly. I appreciate you guys being quick with me here, but overall, this was a game the Raptors should have won. Scotty Barnes put up a masterclass performance. I thought it was another great game from him. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 8 of 16 from the field. He knocked down 2 threes. He got to the free throw line. He made so many plays, some that I just detailed in that clutch moment. He had this block on LeBron James that basically stopped LeBron from scoring 10 points for the first time in like 1,200 games, which is absurd. The last time LeBron didn't score 10 points in a game, I think it was 2007, something absurd like that. And so the streak is over, but the streak is over because LeBron James, in the dying moments of the game, decided to make a pass to Rui Hachimura, who knocked down the game winner. Why did Rui Hachimura end up with a wide open game winner? Because the Raptors decided to double Austin Reaves, and they doubled Austin Reaves because Austin Reaves finished with 44 points in this game and 10 assists. He was completely unstoppable. And I know there will be people right now. I imagine it. I can hear the clicking and clacking of the keyboards. Yes, Austin Reaves took 15 free throws tonight. That is regular for Austin Reaves. That is regular for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's regular for Luka Doncic, especially Luka Doncic this year. Luka is, I believe, number 1 in NBA history of free throw rates by guards this season. The Lakers get a lot of free throws. Austin Reaves gets a lot of free throws. I believe he's top 10 in the league in free throws per game. This is not new. This isn't like, and I only say this because I want you guys to know, like, this is not something that only happens to the Raptors. The Lakers and Austin Reaves and Luka get a lot of calls. They get it a lot. And part of that is them being very gifted at drawing fouls and grifting. And I think that is truthfully, like, you have to be a good salesman when it comes to grifting like that. And Austin Reaves and Luka do a tremendous job of selling these calls. But that is not why Austin Reaves fried them. Yes, the foul calling and all that stuff definitely put a damper on the Raptors' defensive scheme, but Austin Reaves was unstoppable in this game. The three-point shooting was great. The pick-and-roll playmaking with DeAndre Ayton was great. He had 10 assists on top of the 44 points. Part of that was because the Raptors didn't have Jakob Poeltl, and so the Lakers feasted on the inside. Ayton had a really good game in this one, 17 points, 8 rebounds. A lot of those were just easy opportunities where Austin Reaves found him on the inside, and he was just the bigger presence compared to Mamu or compared to CMB. And so there were a lot of opportunities where Austin Reaves absolutely fried the Raptors, fried them. I asked Darko postgame. I was at the game today, but I asked Darko postgame, like, what do you do in those situations when a guy is so hunting for foul calls, right? What do you do? What do you tell your players? Because it must be very frustrating to play against. And so he said, look, some players just get those type of calls in this league, and it's something you have to accept. At the same time, he said that he thought that they played him well. He commended Jacoby Walter for playing him well defensively. He thought Jamal Shead did a good job in the fourth quarter for the most part. They closed with Jamal Shead instead of Jacoby Walter. Walter ended up with 17 points in this game. Truthfully, I would have went with Jamal Shead, but I'm not the coach of the Toronto Raptors. That's neither here nor there. But regardless, I thought Austin did whatever he wanted to against the Raptors defense. And missing Jakob Poeltl was big in this game because you didn't have that backline protection to be able to be more aggressive at the point of attack against Austin Reaves, knowing that you can protect the paint against DeAndre Ayton. And so that's why I thought it was kind of double the trouble there, right? Reaves could do whatever he wanted to. Let's break down the final two offensive possessions for the Lakers, because I think that is really what a lot of people will be talking about with this game, the Austin Reaves layup and then the Rui Hachimura game winner. Let's talk about those two things. So this was a really interesting play because LeBron James was on the bench. He thought that the Lakers were going to call a timeout. And if you look at this, actually, Jamal Shed also thinks the Lakers are going to call a timeout. He's not even looking at Austin Reaves. He's looking at LeBron James at the bench. And he's like, okay, are we going to call a timeout here? What's going on? But that doesn't matter because Austin Reaves take advantage of this and just beats Jamal Shed to the basket. And now it's Immanuel Quickley versus Austin Reaves. Good contest, but a just better finish by Reaves in this situation. That is a bad defensive play by Jamal Shed, but it also was a broken play because of the whole LeBron James timeout situation. And then this is the game winner. So you see here, Darko is actually calling for Scottie to double in this situation. 5.6 seconds left. This double comes. They don't want Austin Reaves, who at this point has 44 points in the game, to win this for them. And the Raptors do a good job of scrambling on defense. LeBron has an opportunity going downhill with 3.4 seconds left against Immanuel Quickley. And instead, he whips a pass to the corner, Rui Hachimura, and that is why he got a wide open shot for the win. That is why the Raptors lost this game. Not necessarily those two plays, but the fact that Austin Reaves was unstoppable and him being unstoppable throughout the game led them to doubling him in that final play. That is exactly why they lost. Not necessarily those two plays, but the result, the compounding effect, the snowball effect of Austin Reaves cooking you for 47 and a half minutes that led to you deciding we're going to double team in that situation because he has 44 points in the game. And so that's kind of the reason this Raptors team lost. I thought their defense wasn't sharp in this one. And again, no Jakob Poeltl, so there's a reason their defense wasn't sharp. But truthfully, man, and I know if you've been listening to Raptors Republic, if you've been listening to Pull Up Trey over the last couple of days, they have talked about it. But this Raptors offense has been lackluster without RJ Barrett. They are dead last in the league in offense without Barrett. And while it is a small sample size, you can see how hard it is for them to come by buckets, for them to come by opportunities in the paint, for them to generate consistently good looks. And that's compounded by the fact that Jakob Poeltl isn't on the floor. And Jakob Poeltl makes it so much easier for a guy like Immanuel Quickley to get off his game. If you remember in their win against the Blazers, I talked about how easy it is for IQ to play with Jakob Poeltl, the screen assist, right? IQ in this one, after going 9 of 11 in that game, was 5 of 9 in this game, just finished with 13 points. And I think part of that was because he missed Yak out there. The screen assists were not there. His comfortability getting into his pull-up bag was not there. And so when that pillar of your offense is gone, when the RJ pillar of your offense is gone, you are only down to BI and Scottie. And while those guys have like clear talent offensively, it's just relying way too much on those guys to be your guys. And then again, I'm going to use the word snowball and compound a lot, but these kind of situations bubble, right? You get to the fourth quarter and now your only two viable sources of offense are Brandon Ingram isolations and pinch posts and Scottie Barnes isolations and pinch posts. And teams are figuring out ways to make that harder on you, whether that's fronting in the post, whether that's making it so that, you know, they're switching actions like they did with Brandon Ingram and DeAndre Ayton towards the clutch. That's just the way the cookie crumbles for this Raptors team right now. The fact that they haven't been able to, no Yak and no RJ, it's really limited their diversity offensively. And so part of the reason why they look so off kilter, if you will, in the fourth quarter is because they're playing at a disadvantage, you know? And it's just hard because so much of what their offensive I'll say it like this. So much of what the Raptors were successful at offensively to start the season, why they were the number one half-court offense in the league, was because of the variety that they had. Because they could go to Brandon Ingram in pinch post and isolation situations, but they could also work in Scotty Barnes as a roller. They could work in Scotty Barnes in the mid-post area as well to create shots. They could go to Emmanuel Quickly, Yakapurtle pick and rolls. They could go to dribble handoff stuff with RJ Barrett and Yakapurtle, or pick and roll stuff with RJ Barrett and Yakapurtle. And all of those guys exponentially were better when they played next to each other. And with the flow of the Raptors bench units, when you think of Mamu spacing and Grady spacing and Jamal Shedd's playmaking and Jacoby Walter coming and making plays as well defensively, all of those things just heightened and amplified all of those different pillars for the Raptors offensively. When you rip out a couple of these studs from the foundation, it makes it a lot harder for that to function, for that to breathe, for that to make more sense. And I'm not surprised that this Raptors offense is struggling recently, because one of those main foundations in RJ Barrett, a guy who scores, 20 plus points per game for them, is not there. And so there's much more reliance. The usage is higher for Brandon Ingram. The usage is higher for Scotty Barnes. Even some of these bench players are being asked to do more, are being put in positions throughout games that they might not have been used to start this season. Mamu starting in this one, Jacoby Walter starting in this one. Before a couple days ago or like a week ago was Jameson Battle starting. And so these guys are being asked to play in different portions of the game, which is another, again, compounding effect to one single player missing games. That's not necessarily an excuse. It's just an explanation as to why this Raptors offense is struggling. It wasn't all bad. This was a winnable game, probably a game that they will regret losing, but at the same time, it wasn't all bad. The Raptors struggled out the gate in this one. The Lakers were on fire. And what happened for them to come back into this game, it was their bench. It was Colin Murray-Boyles. It was Grady Dick. It was Jamal Shedd. Jamison Battle, who I talked about in some of their clutch situations, was awesome, especially in that fourth quarter. Jamison Battle was huge. Jamison Battle deserves more minutes. But the bench really came in and gave them a boost once again. I want to talk about one specific bench player, which was Colin Murray-Boyles. Rookie Colin Murray-Boyles in 15 and a half minutes, dropped 12 points, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, a couple of offensive rebounds, knocked down 2 threes. Let's talk about CMB. This is a really nice scripted play by the Raptors. Usually, again, in a delay action where CMB is the 5-man, usually what they'll do is they'll run a pin down, and then what will typically happen is Brandon Ingram will come off and run a dribble handoff with CMB. But the second option to this is that Jacoby Walter ghosts this pin down and just cuts backdoor, and that's exactly what happens. It's a pre-designed play, but CMB reads it, makes the pass, great play. Works as a roller here, slipping to the basket, getting into the teeth of the defense, and a really great job finding the corner man in Jacoby Walter for the 3. This time one-on-one against Jake LaRavia, gets beat, but then good recovery for the block. And then in transition, fills the lane. And a good job, by the way, I just want to highlight Grady Dick's gravity once again, forcing a guy to not help off the corner. And so this creates a wide open driving opportunity for CMB. This was a sick play by Jamal Shedd, who really gets downhill quickly, recognizes the switch, gets downhill, and a beautiful dump off pass to CMB. For more of CMB working as a roller. So this time, nice push, gets inside. This is an empty side pick and roll too, so no help coming. He doesn't get the alley-oop, but a beautiful second jump, really fast second jump there too. And again, Austin Reaves was cooking all game. Anytime someone put a hand in there, he was getting the foul call. But a really good job by CMB to stay disciplined and also get that hand in there and steal the ball. And so CMB was awesome in this game. Again, there were a lot of really impressive performances off of the bench for the Raptors. Jamison Battle, Grady Dick was good in his minutes there. Jacoby Walter, obviously not coming off the bench. He started in this one, but finished with 17 points. He was excellent in this game as well. And again, I think he probably should have ended up finishing that fourth quarter. This was obviously it's weird because there's so much going on in this game. You know what I mean? The LeBron James streak is over, the Austin Reaves dominant game, the foul calling, the poor clutch execution in the fourth quarter from the Raptors, the fact that the Raptors are generally or have been a good clutch team so far, but of recent they are kind of faltering there, and it's becoming a little bit more predictable in clutch situations. That's one aspect, and of course the Rui Hachimura game winner to add on to everything. Truthfully, as an NBA fan, not as a Raptors fan, but as an NBA fan, that was a wildly entertaining game. Like, boy, was that fun. As a Raptors fan, of course, that was not fun. but from an NBA perspective, I was talking to Dave, and I did a hit for the Athletic NBA Daily, but he told me, he was like, that was the game of the year. And honestly, so far, it probably was. The back and forth, the entire fourth quarter. I rewatched the entire fourth quarter just now. The way that the score was going back and forth, the defensive plays from Scotty. Scotty is kind of in his Kyle Lowry era right now, where even despite the fact that he almost had a triple-double in this game, there were more countless plays where he was crashing the offensive glass, stunting on the weak side to get a stop, or blocking a shot, getting a steal, making the secondary play, getting the assist, or getting the hockey assist. There are so many moments where Scotty makes a play. It might not end up on the box sheet, but it is clear that he is impacting the game in such a winning way. And it's consistent now. It's just consistent. It's night out that he understands what he has to do on a regular basis to be at his very best. And folks, this is the Scotty Barnes that's been promised. This is the Scotty Barnes that's been advertised. I hope people relish in the fact that, maybe this isn't Scotty in his prime, but damn, this is the version that we expected Scotty Barnes to be. And now he is that. And he's been it pretty consistently, night in, night out. Whether it's a win or a loss, you kind of know what to expect from Scotty Barnes now. I was thinking to myself, he took an above the break three earlier in this game, at some point in this game, and I didn't even flinch. I was like, I know this is going in, because he looks so confident out there. He looks so sure of himself. He understands what he's good at. He's reading the defense incredibly well. He's making plays out of it. He's scoring so comfortably now, understanding counters, understanding when to go to the basket, how to draw fouls. It's just all coming together for Scotty Barnes in a really marvelous way. And folks, I like all-star for sure, all defense for sure. And depending on how injuries shake out and stuff like that, he's well on his way to being an all-NBA level player. That's how good Scotty Barnes has been to start the season. So despite the loss, you can maybe take that as your silver lining. Scotty has been tremendous. And the Raptors will have another crack at it against Charlotte, a revenge game of sorts against the Charlotte Hornets. And we know that the Hornets are always going to be very, very interesting to play against, because that's just the Toronto Raptors way. Folks, I have to wake up in 6 hours and be at Scotiabank Arena again for the Raptors 9:05 game. So without a further ado, please like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys tap into Raptors Republic. We appreciate you guys as always. See you later. Peace.